Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, weird people who send nude pictures to animated characters' Facebook accounts. Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Mr. Teddy Bear. Today we are stepping a bit away from bushcraft and going into tactical fieldcraft. If bushcraft is all about being a happy hippie tree hugger and being one with nature, then fieldcraft is all about getting shit done and stabbing nature in its stupid face. Why? Because in military terms, nature is just an obstacle between you and the dude you are there to beat and greet. And what do we do with obstacles? That's right. We whine and complain, but we overcome them eventually. Because we're men. That's why. Uh, Unless you're a woman. Yeah, that's cool too. I love women. Really. No. I don't mean like that. I mean, yes, like that. Stop confusing me. Now then, in Israel there are many courses that prepare our youth to their eventual mandatory military service. And as one who had actually taught a few of those, yes, that's right, a teaching teddy bear, by far the scariest and the most intense time they go through is survival week. To be honest, it's not really a week. It's like 2 or 3 days usually, but this is when we let those teenage hormone-fueled adventure adrenaline junkies to navigate alone in the wild for a couple of days. And hope like hell they do not die. Because if they do, well, it truly messes up on our insurance costs. And we do love our shekels. Now, fieldcraft in general, and survival week in particular, is all about two things: the right skills and the right gear. You come lacking in either, and that's a recipe for failure and ridicule by the other, better kids. For better skills, come to my courses, because much as I tell my wife when she wants the sex, it will be better if I'll be there in person. As for the right gear, well, that I can show you here and now, so stay tuned. The first two things you want and need are a good pack and a good pair of boots. Since you're going to be trekking and packing for a while, don't come with your school backpack and your beach sandals. Well, I mean, you could, but you really shouldn't. And for our American audiences, no, a school pack is not, nor should ever be, a tactical one. Stop it. You are not supposed to be in a hostile fire environment during a freaking biology class. I tell your kids to stay in school, but hot damn, it's dangerous over there. For boots, you want your shoes made of Gore-Tex and with Vibram soles. These will keep your knees healthy and your feet dry. Trust me, you will thank me for that later. These ones are mine. There are many like them, but mine are smelly, so get your own. Also, get yourself proper hiking socks. Something that will be thick enough to protect your feet from blisters, yet thin enough to breathe and evaporate moisture. Because a properly placed blister can turn even a trip to a strip club into a negative experience. Don't let that happen to you. For packing, I use a Source Patrol 30-liter backpack for all my carrying needs. 30 to 35 liters is what you should be going for. Anything over, you are in danger of carrying too much. And weight, much like drugs and booze, reduces performance. Trust me on that. I always run at least one external carabiner on my pack for easy attachments. It does not weigh much, but it makes attaching things easy. Much love to my fellow carabiners out there. Inside the pack I have a Source hydration bladder. This one is 2 liters, but you get yourself a 3 liters one. Because water is almost as important as alcohol in certain parts of the world. Now, depending on the length of your nav route, either plan it around and through available water sources and purify water along the way, or carry a crap ton of water bottles. A good rule of thumb should be to carry 1 liter of water per 2 hours of hiking. So calculate the hell out of that ratio and get going. Now then, let's talk shelter. Every shelter system, no matter where you are or what temperatures you are in, needs three things: something to sleep in, something to sleep on, and something to sleep under. In this shelter roll, that's right, this little thing, I have a tarp, a sleeping bag, and a foam map that is good enough to insulate you from that cold evil ground that wants to suck out all of your heat from your body. Stupid ground. I also have two external carabiners for, well, it helps, and the binding rope can be used for that extra extension to our ridgeline setup. Pretty good. This is the shelter roll on the inside, as you can see. And inside the sleeping bag I have a pouch with a pre-made ridgeline and 4 tent stakes. That should be enough for me to set up shelter. Then all I need is a tree or two, and I am all set up for my wife kicking me right out of the house. Who needs a proper roof above their heads anyhow, right? Right. Don't worry, you'll get there. You'll get married one day. Some heating cheats that are used by the IDF are chemical heat packs and a space blanket. These two are for when your shelter isn't enough and the fire isn't an option. Just throw one of them inside your clothes and around your precious dinglies and wrap yourself in the other one. I'll let you figure out which one is which, and unless you're a complete dumbass, you'll be fine for the night. There we go. We have shelter done and ready. Time for tools of the trade. First and foremost, and anyone who had ever served anywhere will tell you this, bring your own sex toys. Seriously, you do not want to be the guy in camp asking to borrow another man's inflatable doll. Have some self-respect and prepare accordingly. Second, and almost as important, you want the two most basic outdoor tools, and them be a knife and a saw. Your two choices are either get a good multi-tool, preferably one with a locking blade, or bring two separate tools. Up to you really. Both approaches have their ups and downs. Me personally, I like my knife to be always within reach and comfortable to use. So for this setup I carry the SC Zancudo. This knife is affordable, it has decent steel, and it is so freaking sharp that even I was surprised. I mean, seriously, this is by far the sharpest out of the box knife I've ever had, and I will swear on this for the record. If you want a small but rugged knife to use outdoors, get this one. I also have a sheath I put on my belt to carry the knife around for easy access. Sheath is by Victorinox, and to be honest, I bought it because it looks pretty. But yeah, I've been using it non-stop ever since. Now then, in the IDF it is really common that you attach most of your gear to yourself via cords. Because the last thing you want to do is to lose your gear in the middle of a situation where you have timed goals to achieve. As such, I have here a small lanyard loop on its end to attach the knife with it to my belt cord. For a saw, I have a folding Opinel saw. I'm not a fan of Opinel knives, but their saws are not too shabby. Again, a lanyard loop to attach to my belt as I use it. Don't lose your stuff, dudes and dudettes. I always have at least some sharpening gear with me. This time it is a beech stone for coarse sharpening, a fine stone for the finishing touches, and a small piece of leather to use as a stroke. These three can bring most knives manscaping sharp, because, let's be honest, being out there in the field is not an excuse to let go of your stripping physique. And one of my heaviest tools for this kind of a going out is a folding shovel. This is the most underrated outdoors tools that I know, but trust me, you want one. Want to dig a hole to take your business in? Yeah, use a shovel. Want to transfer hot stones from the fire into your shelter? Use a shovel. Want to dig a moat around your shelter to tunnel rainwater around yourself? Shovel. Hammer your tent stakes? Shovel. Kill a zombie? Shovel. Have sex? Shovel. That last one does require some special training, so sign up to my courses. For illumination, I have a headlamp. Red light is a must because it doesn't screw up your night vision and does not give away your position as badly as white light. Spare batteries, always with me, and 2 stick lights for if and when technology fails me. Never rely on high tech. That's just what Skynet is counting on, and, well, we all know how that rodeo ends. For cordage, I have a large bundle of rope. Well, for those emergency lashings, and also to have a way out when the going gets really tough. Yes, I know I'll need a tree, but come on, they're everywhere. And for any type of repair out in the field, I have a small roll of duct tape and some reusable zip ties. I mean, seriously, if you can't fix your gear with those two, you deserve having it broken. That's a fact. For navigation, after you plot your course and set your bearings, you want yourself a proper map case to protect your map against tearings, the elements, your dumb self spilling beer on it. Trust me, it will happen. You also want a compass, a weatherproof notebook, and a pen of some sort. I have here a space pen, these things write every bloody where, and a permanent marker to write on, well, everything. It will write on clothes, on walls, on rocks, on skin even if you run out of paper. So yeah, if you want to write your ex's number in the men's bathroom, this is the tool to do it with. And last is an emergency whistle, for when you mess up your coordinates and end up behind enemy lines. Or far enough from the local McDonald's to be hungry. Just put this bad boy in your mouth and blow it as if they're paying you to do it. And maybe, just maybe, someone will hear you and come help you out. Okay, so we had shelter, tools and navigation. That means that we have, in theory, navigated to our destination and have set up camp. Now, time to burn it all and die in a fiery inferno that will consume Australia. That's right, we're starting a fire. In order to start fire, you want 2 things, an ignition source and tinder. The source ignites the tinder, which in turn lights up the kindling you have set up before, and that turns into a proper fire. I like to teach and preach for 3 ignition sources and 3 types of tinders. Is it an overkill? Probably. But the bare 2 minimum you should have is 2 ignition sources and 1 type of tinder. For ignition sources I have a lighter, storm matches and a magnesium ferry rod. For tinder I have dry fuel blocks, fat wood and a magnesium ferry rod. With these 6 you can start many fires and you can start them quickly, and ultimately that's what you want when you are cold, wet, tired and hungry. And you should be. It's not an adventure if you're not. For field cooking I have For a bit of cheating I have a bellows tube, which weighs close to nothing and takes little space but makes starting, maintaining and restarting fires so much easier, it's not even funny. Really, they cost like $2. Get them. For field cooking I have a small wood stove, or a rocket stove, or whatever you kids call these things these days. These focus all of the heat upwards at whatever it is you're trying to set on fire, and are able to maximize heat production when even using minimal resources. I use something called a finjan in Israel, but you other country people just call it a small pot. It's like the multi-tool of hobo cooking. You can boil your water in it, you can cook rice and beans in it, you can even bloody cook an egg or fry some meat in it, though you will need plenty of stirring. With it I have a small metal cup, a metal spork, and a proper brew kit with a bunch of tea, coffee and sugar for that liquid energy boost every one of us knows and loves. For some basic hygiene I have hand wipes for myself and a steel wool and a vial of dish soap for my finjan and spork. Because diarrhea may be fun and but lovely when you're home, but it really runs a number on you in the great outdoors. And speaking of diarrhea, yeah, never forget your toilet paper. because of diarrhea. That's pretty much self-explanatory. And last but not least, my little first aid kit. Inside I have an Israeli bandage, alcohol pads, band-aids, medical gauze, moleskin against blisters, medical tape, anti-chafing cream because chafing sucks, and some pills in case you get ill along the way. So there you go. That's what you want to take with you on your survival week. Good luck, don't die, and if you have anything to say about my setup, let it be known in the comments. And of course, if you are interested in a proper course, well then, have your people talk to my people. In my next video, I hope to show you how I actually use all of this stuff out in the outdoors. And that's it. See you around.